Hello, and this is my project on photosynthesis. So I'm going to be splitting this up into 4 parts. The first part is the introduction. The second part is how photosynthesis works. The third part is where photosynthesis occurs, and the fourth part is the connections that we as humans make with plants. So starting out with the introduction. What is photosynthesis? Photosynthesis is the process by which green plants use sunlight to create food from carbon dioxide and water. Now, there are some parts in the plant that you can see and some parts you can't. I'm going to be telling you guys what they do for each part. So, the first thing we have is the roots. They absorb the nutrients that's in the soil, and they also absorb the water. Then there's the stem, which is the structure and transportation. There's the flower, which is the reproductive part in the plant. And there are the leaves, which is where photosynthesis occurs. So that's the external structure. The internal structure is there's xylem, which is a tissue inside the stem that brings water up from the roots into the other places where it needs to go. There is the stomata, which is underneath. Most of it is underneath the plant, underneath the leaves, but some of it is on top, and I'll be getting into that in the third part of this episode of this project. And there's chlorophyll, what absorbs photons from the sun. And yeah. How photosynthesis works. Now, there's three main material that you need for photosynthesis to work. There's water that's absorbed by the roots and is brought up the stem by the xylem. There's sunlight, which but the sunlight photons are absorbed by the chlorophyll. And there's carbon dioxide, CO2. And carbon dioxide is also brought into the leaf by the stomata. And using all three of these, the benefits of photosynthesis is glucose, which is food for the plant, and oxygen for us to breathe. So oxygen and glucose. Yeah. And yeah. Where photosynthesis occurs. Photosynthesis occurs in the leaves. For the stomata, which absorbs carbon dioxide and sunlight, as you can see here, carbon dioxide goes in, water and oxygen go out. So, in order for the stomata to close, in order for the guard cells to close the stomata, water needs to swell it up. And yeah, that's how it closes. And it's on the leaf, so you can see how that's a part of the leaf that they're showing. Yeah. So, on to what the leaf looks like. The cuticle is like the rough part of the plant. It's on the top and on the bottom. It's when you feel it, it's rough. So that's right there. Below that and above the bottom cuticle, there's the lower and upper epidermis, which is the protective layers for the leaves. Then there's mesophyll, which is here. This is mesophyll. And there's two types. Palisade, which is here on the top, and spongy, which is on the bottom. And as you can see over here, there's the guard cells and the stomata. And inside of the mesophyll, there's chloroplasts, which I'm going to do in a different color. So, yeah. So, there's chloroplasts, which this is a bigger example of it. So, this is a chloroplast, and there's an outer and inner membrane. So, that means there's two membranes in a chloroplast. So there's a fluid where there's not a structure, and that's called stroma. These little discs right here are called thylakoids. They hold lumen inside, which also absorbs photons from the sun. When the process of it is how when the thylakoids absorb the photons from the sun, PS2, photosystem 2, it gives it like a high voltage shock, which electrifies it, and as they go down, it collects. As the photons, as the electrons come down, they collect energy, and it's like a high school level process, so I don't really know a lot about that. And lumen, that's where it happens. It happens in the lumen. And the stack of thylakoids are called grana. And as you can see, there's a bunch of them, so it's called granum. So for the last part, the connections. We have two different connections with them. We have us as humans. We have veins which transport our blood cells to different places that need it. Well, plants have xylem, which transports water where it needs to go. So it takes water from the roots and puts it wherever it needs to go. And there's another tissue called phloem, which is the opposite of xylem. It transports it. It brings it down. It doesn't bring it up. It brings it down. So, yeah. And humans have carbon in our body. So, if we have too much carbon dioxide, the carbon will create oxygen. Will create carbon dioxide, and if we have too much carbon dioxide in our body, we will basically die. So, in order for us to reduce the amount of carbon dioxide that we have, we need to inhale oxygen. So, when we inhale oxygen, so O2, we exhale carbon dioxide, CO2. And plants need to inhale carbon dioxide to exhale oxygen. So we have a partnership with them. So basically, we need oxygen to breathe, and we need to exhale carbon dioxide so we don't die. And plants need to inhale carbon dioxide, water, and sunlight so they can create more oxygen for us to breathe. So yeah, that's my project on photosynthesis. Hope you all enjoyed. Goodbye.